My seventh grade students, let's go ahead and get ready for our final study guide. Number one, we see that we have Jason catches 42 out of 60 throws. What percent of throws did he catch? Let's go ahead and start getting our writing tools ready. So in this one, we see 42 out of 60 can be written as 42 out of 60. We can make this equal to some number out of 100. When cross multiply, we see that we have 42 times 100. That has to equal 60 times x. Everyone sees we're taking these numbers, multiplying them to each other. And that's better probably if I put a highlighter on these. There we go. And then we're taking these numbers and multiplying them to each other. Now we're going to solve the equation. Well, this is going to be 4,200. Sorry about that. Equals 60x. And then we divide by 60. To separate 60 from x. 60 divided by 60 is 1, so that leaves us 1x. 4,200 divided by 60, that's 70. So our answer is 70. 70%. All right, so x equals 70. Remember, the percents go on the one side, and the numbers go on the other. All right, let's go on to the next problem. Number 2 says, on a map, the scale is 1 inch equals 120 miles. What's the actual distance between the two cities if the map's distance is 3 1/4 inch? Well, on this one we can say we've got 1 inch is equal to 120 miles. We're looking to find out how much 3 1/4 inch. This time we're putting the ratios equal to each other. We're trying to find the number of miles. We're still using cross multiplication, which means we're going to take 1 inch times x and 120 miles times 3 1/4. So one might ask, how do you take 120 and multiply it to 3 1/4? One way is to go ahead and remember you can go ahead and go around the world with 3 1/4. 3 times 4 is 12. And 12 plus 1 is 13. So you can say this is 120 over 1 times 13 over 4. $120 times 13 equals 1,560. And now we got to divide it by 4 to get our answer. Dividing this by 4 gives me 390. So my answer is 390. That'd be 390 miles. Here's another way to do this. Some think it's much easier. When you take 120 and multiply it to 3 1/4, you could take 3 1/4 and turn it to a decimal. First, take 1 and divide it by 4. This gives you 0.25. Now add it to 3. This gives you the decimal form of 3 1/4. Now multiply it to 120. There's your answer, 390. All right, let's go on to number 3. Number 3 says 15 is 75% of what number? Well, we got cross multiplication written all over this again. We're going to take 15 and multiply it to 100 and make it equal to x times 75. So let's see, 15 times 100 equals 75 times x. Of course, this is 1500. And now we divide 75 away from x, which means we divide 1500 by 75. $1,500 divided by 75 is 20. So my answer has to be 20. Number 4 says write an equation for the proportional relationship shown on the table. For this one, all we have to do is make sure there's a proportional relationship. We take the bottom number, y, and divide it by the top number, x. Let's make sure we get the same answer every time. First, 6 divided by 0.5. That equals 12. Now, 12 divided by 1. That's an easy one. We know that's going to be 12. Now, 18 divided by 1.5. That's also 12. And the last one, 24 divided by 2. That equals 12 as well. That tells me this is a proportional relationship. So when we write an equation for this, we remember that it has to be in the form of y equals mx. So this proportional relationship is y equals 12x. The m stands for the number that is our ratio, our slope. We call this the rise over run. And it's also our rate of change. That rate of change is 12. Number 5, what is the selling price for $60 pair of shoes with 25% markup? For this, we practice MMA. The first M stands for move it. So we're going to move this decimal. 25% can't be multiplied to a number because it has this percent sign. To turn it to a number, we move the decimal twice. Now it turns to 0.25. So 0.25. is moving the decimal. Next, we're going to multiply. We're multiplying our decimal to our number. So we're going to multiply this to 60. The second M stands for multiply. .5 times 60 is 15. That gives us our last letter, add. Add means we're going to add 15 to our answer. So remember, we started with $60 pair of shoes. So we're going to have to add 16 to 15. That's going to give us 75. That means the new pair, or these pair of shoes, after they've been marked up, will be $75. All right, number 6. A bank gives Caleb a loan for $30,000 for 6 years at 8% interest. How much will Caleb pay in simple interest? For this one, we see that we're going to have to use I equals pretty. This is our simple interest formula. I equals PRT. All right, I stands for interest, and we have to take the principal, which is $30,000, multiply it to our rate. That's our percent that they're multiplying. But remember, we have to turn this to a number, just like we did up here. So we have to move this 8% decimal 2 places. That's going to make it 0.08. Next, we're going to multiply it to t. That's time. That's the number of years. All this is going to give us our interest. Let's put this in our calculator. $30,000 times 0.08 times 6. That gives us $14,400. That's the interest we'll pay after 6 years. All right, let's go to number 7. Isabella's softball team won 8 games last month and 12 games this month. What's the percentage change in games her team won? The minute we see the word percentage change, we know we're going to use big number minus small number divided by the original number. Where our big number was 12. It's big because it's bigger than 8. Our small number is 8. It's small because it's smaller than 12. We're going to divide it by the original number, which is 8, because last month came before this month. Now, 12 minus 8 is 4. And 4 divided by 8, that's 0.5. Now we have to turn it to percent. We move the decimal 2 places over, and that's 50%. So, what was the percentage change? 50%. Number 8 says the spinner shown is spun once. Find the theoretical probability of the spinner landing on a vowel. There are 2 vowels here. That's E and A. Remember our vowels is A, E, I, O, U. So that's 2 out of the 6. That can be written as 2 out of 6. And now we simply remember that every fraction is a division problem. We'll put 2 over 6 in our calculator. 2 divided by 6. That gives us 0.3 repeating. To turn this to a percent, we move the decimal over twice. That's going to give us 33.3 repeating percent. Let's go to number 9. A spinner marked with 4 sections, blue, green, yellow, and red, was spun 100 times. The results are shown. What's the experimental probability of landing on green? Experimental probability means what did happen. So it landed on green 16 times. That's 16 out of 100. Once again, pop this in our calculator. 16 divided by 100 is 0.16. We move the decimal over 2 places to turn it to a percent, and that's 16%. Number 10 says list the measure center that indicates the number most often seen. Remember, measures of center are mean, median, and mode. Mean means find the average. Average means add up all the numbers and then divide it by the number of numbers that you added together. Median means find the middle. You find the middle by putting all the numbers in order and then going to the center number. If there's 2 numbers in the center, find the average of those 2 numbers. Mode means the one you see most frequently. So the one that you see most often is the one you see most frequently. Our answer must be the mode for this one. This is the double box plot, shows the number of calories per serving for various fruits and vegetables. This shows our fruits, this shows our vegetables. What is the median for the number of calories per serving? Remember, median meant find the middle. So for fruit, I find the middle dot. That middle dot is lined up with the number underneath it, which is 125. So my answer must be 125. Oh, I'm sorry, it said vegetables, and it almost made a classic mistake there. Going for the wrong one. So if we're talking vegetables, the one I really want is 100. Find the range for the number of calories per serving for fruit. Range means take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number. So for fruit, I'm going to take the biggest number, which is 225. Oh, sorry, we're talking fruit. Almost did it again. So for fruit, it's 250. The smallest number is 25. So 250 minus 25 will give us our answer. 250 minus 25 is 225. So our answer must be 225. Number 13 says find the area of a parallelogram. Parallelogram's formula is base times height. So we're simply going to take the base, which is 6, multiply it to the height. 6 times 3 is 18. So this is 18 feet squared. Number 14, find the area of a trapezoid a little harder. We take the formula 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. 1/2 is easy, it stays the same. The height is 4. You see that going up and down. Base 1 is 5. We're adding that to base 2, which is 10. 1/2 of 4 is 2. And 5 plus 10 is 15. 2 times 15 is 30. So this is 30 feet squared. 15 says, what's the diameter of a circle? The formula for diameter is multiplying the radius by 2. We know a diameter goes all the way across because it makes the letter D. We know the radius goes halfway across because it makes the letter R, or at least a small r. So since we've given the radius and we know diameter is twice the radius, we take 3 and multiply it to 2. That tells us the diameter is 6 feet. Next, we go to circumference. What is the circumference of the circle? Use 3.14 for pi. Circumference can be found by using the formula diameter times pi. If the diameter is 24.6, we're going to multiply this to pi, which we said was 3.14. 3.14 times 24.6 gives us 77.244. Remember, this says round to the nearest tenth. The 10th column is here. So we have to round up. None of these numbers are bigger than 5. And since this number right here is not bigger than 5, we keep this number the same. So my answer is 77.2. And since we're talking circumference, and circumference is how far it is around a circle, it's 77.2 yards. Number 17, what is the area of the circle? The area of the circle is found by the formula pi r squared. We said pi was 3.14. We're multiplying it to the radius. The radius is halfway across, and that's 4. But we have to square it. 4 squared means 4 times itself 2 times. 4 times 4 is 16. So we're going to multiply 16 times 3.14 to get our answer. Sixteen times 3.14 is 50.24. Look again, round to the nearest tenth. So again, we have to remember we're rounding this to that spot. 4 is not bigger than 5, so our answer would be 50.2. This time we're talking about area. That's how much fills this circle up. So this is going to be feet squared. Number 18, what is the area of the figure in square centimeters? This time we have half of a circle on top and a rectangle on the bottom. The rectangle is easy. That's length times width. That's 12 times 26. $312. Now we got to find the area of the circle. Remember the circle formula was pi r squared. But this is half a circle, so we'll have to take this and divide it by 2. So now we've got 3.14. We're going to multiply that by the radius. If the whole length across from here to here is 26, the whole length from here to here is 26. So we need half of that for the radius. Half of 26 is 13. So we're going to multiply this to 13 squared. And then we're going to divide it by 2. 13 squared is 169. So now we have 3.14 times 169 divided by 2. Let's pop that in our calculator. 3.14 times 169 and then we're going to divide it by 2. That's 265.33. We're talking area again. So all this is going to be in centimeters squared. But let's not forget, we found 265.33. We need to add that to the rectangle's area in order to find the whole area. So we're going to take our answer and add it to 312. Oops, sorry about that. That's 577.33. It's said to the nearest 10. So we're going to, since 3 is not bigger than 5, we're going to erase this. And that's our answer. 577.3 centimeters squared. Next one says find the perimeter. That's how far it is around the shape. To do this, I need to add up all the sides. If this is 12, I know this side is 12. So I can definitely add up all these together. 12 plus 12 plus 26. That's going to give me 50. So all the way around here is 50 centimeters. Now we have to find how long it is around half of a circle. I remember the circumference formula was diameter times pi. So we could take diameter times pi and divide it by 2, since this is half a circle. The diameter is 26. Pi is 3.14. Then we're going to divide it by 2. Because it's half a circle, not a whole one. All right. We have 26 times 3.14 divided by 2. That's 40.82. But let's not forget, that's only the distance around the semicircle. So basically, that's the distance from here to here. So now we have to add this to what we found over here, which was 50. When I take this and add it to 50, I get 90.82. We don't want to forget that 90 plus 82 is rounded to the nearest 10. 2 is less than 8, so we're going to get the 2 and get rid of it. And now we have 92 centimeters. All right, we're on number 20, finally almost over. This says find the surface area of the cylinder. Surface area's formula is pretty complex. We have to take everything we can touch. If I unfold this, I see that I have a circle on top, a rectangle that wraps around it, and a circle on the bottom. First, I'm going to need the formula for a circle, which was pi r squared. We see that pi is 3.14. We're multiplying it to the radius squared. The radius is 2. 2 squared is 4. And 4 times 3.14. And it's going to give us 12.56. Let's see. Yep, 12.56. We see that there's 2 circles. So we're going to have to multiply this to 2. Oops, sorry, almost forgot the 6. That's 25.12. Now we found the area of the circles, we need to find the area of the rectangle. The rectangle is simply length times width. The width is given to us, 6. But now we have to find the length. The length wraps around the circle. Around the circle is the circumference, so I'm going to use the circumference formula. The circumference formula was diameter times pi. The diameter has to be 4, since the radius was 2. Now we're multiplying that to 3.14, which is pi. I remember that was the same equation I had over here, and that came up to 12.56. Now remember, we have to multiply this to 6. 12.56 times 6 equals 75.36. We have to add this to the area that we found for the circles. This will give us our answer. Our answer is 100.48. That's the surface area. And it doesn't tell us to round to the nearest 10, so we can leave it there. The surface area is 100.48 feet squared. The bonus question is very simple. Find the volume of a cylinder. And the volume formula is V equals big B times H. Big B stands for what is the formula of the base? Well, the base is a circle, and we know that's pi r squared. We solved this earlier. We said the circles were 12.56. we're multiplying this base to the height. So we're multiplying this to 6. .56 times 6 is 75.36. Since this is volume, it's three-dimensional. So this is going to be feet cubed. That's the answer to our bonus question. All right, that's all the problems. Hope this helps you prep for the final. See you in class.